We continue now at the top of Daf Chafei Amid Beis Meseches Avodah Zara. This is Avodah Zarah Daf 25b. On the previous Amid, the Gemara brought the line in the Mishnah which said that a woman should not go into seclusion with an Ovid Kochavim because of the concern of Avera. And the Gemara said that the implication from the Mishnah is that it's forbidden to be in seclusion with an Ovid Kochavim, but apparently it's permitted to be in seclusion with a Jewish man. That's not true. There's the same concern for Avera if a woman is in seclusion with a Jewish man. And so the Gemara continues and answers, Ella, rather, what's the Mishnah talking about? Bitulasa, we're talking about that a woman should not be in seclusion with three non-Jewish men. Rashi explains, Ella B'Tlasa, we're talking about three non-Jewish men. Lahachi Nakat Tlasa, the reason why we're saying three, why not suggest two? We already said it can't be one, because one is forbidden whether Jewish or not Jewish, so why not go to two next? The Gemara instead goes immediately to three. Why? Devi Yisrael B'Tlasa Sharu, because by three Jews, it's permitted for a woman to be alone with three Jewish men, and that's permitted Bein Ba'ir, Bein B'derech. That's permitted whether in the city or whether on the road. Avol Trei Ba'ir in B'derech lo, but by two Jewish men, it's permitted in the city, but it's actually not permitted on the road. Shema yitztarech echad mehen l'nekavav, because one of them might need to use the bathroom. V'nimtza echad mehen yisiyachin emerva, and then it would come out that one of them is now alone with the situation of potential arayos. And so that's why the Gemara over here is moving straight to three people. And again, the Gemara is interpreting the Mishnah that by three ovdei kochavim it's a problem. And so the Gemara continues, well, if you're going to say that, well, would that be permitted? Let's say you had three Jews, but they were prutzim. They were the kind of Jews that would engage in Avera. Would that be permitted? Like, why are we specifically talking about Ovdei Kochavim? Why not just say by Yisrael prutzim? The implication is only by Ovdei Kochavim and not by Yisrael prutzim, but it's not true. It's not permitted by Yisrael prutzim because Vatanan, because we learned in the Mishnah, this is in Kedushin, it says that one woman is allowed to be in seclusion with two men. V'yomer Rav Yehuda Amar Shmuel, and Rav Yehuda says that Shmuel says, Lo shanu ela b'ksherim, when we say that that's permitted, that's only if the men are kosher, if they're not suspect of anything. Avol beprutzim, but let's say it would be men who are prutzim. Afilu asara nami lo, even 10 people would be problematic. So therefore, again, why would the Mishnah just be focusing on Ovdei Kochavim? The same would be true by Yisrael prutzim. And Ma'isahaya, there even was an incident, and they took out 10 men, took out one woman b'mita, they took her out as if they were burying her, again, in order to commit the Savera. And so therefore, again, what exactly is the Mishnah talking about that would only apply to Ovdei Kochavim? And the Gemara says, Lo no tzricha, it's necessary. What the Mishnah is saying is as follows. Be'ishto ima, we're talking about when the woman is in seclusion with the Ovid Kochavim, but the Ovid Kochavim's wife is there with him. And that's only a problem by an Ovid Kochavim, but not by a Jewish man. Ovid Kochavim, because when it comes to an idol worshiper, ein ishto mishamarto, his wife doesn't guard him, she doesn't watch over that he's not going to commit this Avera. Avol Yisrael, but by a Jewish person, by a Jewish man, ishto mishamarto, if he is with his wife will guard and make sure he doesn't commit any Avera, and that's why it's a problem by an Ovid Kochavim, but it's not a problem by Yisrael, again, in this situation where the wife is there. Rashi explains, Beprutzin Mishari, let's say it would be Jewish people who are Prutzin, would it be permitted? V'yovdei Kochavim lama le'latana lashmin, and why would the Tan of the Mishnah specifically bring Ovdei Kochavim? Ha'afilu Yisrael dechafasayu asiri, even if you had Jews who were like that, who were Prutzim, it would also be forbidden. Votziyu asar, there was a situation again where you had 10 men, and they were Prutzim, and they brought her out. Asara Pritzim le'eshes ish zona, she was an eshes ish, she was a married woman who was a zona, they brought her out, b'mita chutz le'ir, they brought her out in a coffin outside the city, la'avera, in order to do an avera with her. Kein kovrei meis shelo yavinu, they did it as if they were burying her, in order that people should not realize. And Rashi continues, the Gemara then answered, be'ishto shel Ovid Kochavim imo, again we're talking about a situation where the wife of the Ovid Kochavim is with him, and Ovid Kochavim and ishto mishamarto, by the Ovid Kochavim, his wife doesn't guard him, she doesn't make sure he doesn't commit the avera, to lo kapta diu bekari v'itase bevotzini, that's an expression that we find in Meseches Megillah. The point over there is that she doesn't care, she's not makbid about it. Avol Yisrael ishto mishamarto, but a Jew, his wife is going to guard him and make sure that there's no avera, and so therefore, shari, by a Jew in that situation, it would actually be permitted for the woman to be in seclusion with him if the wife is there, if the Jew's wife is there as well. Kidetanan ba'asar yuchsin, like we learned in the Mishnah, asar yuchsin bisman she'ishto imo, yoshin imoim bepundikim imnei she'ishto mishamarto, it says the same idea again, that his wife guards him from any avera. But the Gemara continues and asks, we should say that there's a different concern of a woman being alone with an Oved Kochavim, not the concern of Aveira of an illicit relationship, but there should be concern of Shvichas Damim, which is also mentioned in the Mishnah, that there's a concern that he's going to murder her. And the Gemara continues and answers, Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah says, but Isha Chashuva Askinon, we're talking here about an important woman, Demir Desimina, that he's afraid of her, and so therefore there's no concern for Shvichas Damim. Ravida says, Isha Klezaino Ale, by a woman, she has her weapons upon her, and so therefore, again, there is no concern for a situation of murder. We'll see Rashi in a moment. The Gemara says, Mai Beinayu, what's the difference between these two answers? It seems to be the same basic answer. The Gemara says, Ika Beinayu, Isha Chashuva Bein Hanoshim, V'She'ena Chashuva Bein Hanoshim. The difference between them is, if you have a woman who is important among men, Rashi understands what this means is we're talking about a woman who is important among men, but not important among women. Some interpret that the Gemara means it's an Isha Chashuva, an important woman, Bein Hanoshim, when she is among men, V'She'ena Chashuva, and if she's not an important woman, Bein Hanoshim, when she is above women. But we will take a look at Rashi for Rashi's explanation. Rashi says, V'Teipaklei Belav Aveira Nami. Even without the concern for Aveira of, again, the illicit relationship, we should be concerned, Lo Tisyached Misham Shvichas Damim. She shouldn't be in seclusion with the Oved Kochavim because of the concern that she'll be murdered. And the Gemara answered, Isha Chashuva, we're talking about an important woman. Rashi interprets this to mean that an Isha Chashuva is Bein Hanoshim Uvein Hanoshim. She's important among men and she's important among women. That's how Rashi understands that phrase in the Gemara coming up. And the point over here is as follows: Isha Yafe Ukrova Lamalchus. What that basically means is she's a woman who is a good-looking woman, and she also has connections to the government. Demistafu mina velo katlila. So they're going to be afraid of her. They won't kill her. Aval misham arayas ika. But there's a problem of arayas the yafe because she's a beautiful woman, and so therefore when Rabbi Yirmiyah says we're talking about an Isha Chashuva, we mean to say two things about the woman. Number one, she's a pretty woman. That's why there's a concern of arayas. But also Isha Chashuva, she's important. She has connections to the government, so there is no concern for shvichas damim, for murder. Again, there's a concern that they should be in seclusion because maybe she'll be seduced. Now Rashi says, let's say it would be a woman who is not important among men. She doesn't have the government connections. But she is important among women, meaning that she's a beautiful woman. So then you have a concern she might be killed. He might have relations with her and then kill her. Because again, according to Rav Yirmiyah does not hold that a woman automatically, so to speak, has her weapons upon her. Now let's say it was a woman who is important among men. She has the government connections. She's not going to be killed, but she's not important among women, meaning she's not beautiful. She actually would be allowed to be in seclusion with the Oved Kochavim. Since she's not beautiful, there's not going to be a concern of arayas. That's how, again, Rashi interprets the Gemara. Now, the second answer of the Gemara was Rav Idi, that Isha Klezaino Aleh. Isha Klezaino Aleh, says Rashi, Afagav de'ina chashuva. What he's saying is, even though she's not chashuva, lo ben ha'anashim v'lo ben ha'anashim, she's not important among men, she doesn't have the government connections, and she's not important among women, she's not beautiful. Ein horegosa, still he's not going to kill her. Ela ba'aleh, but he will have relations with her. V'kevan shaba'aleh, eino hargav. Now, once he has relations with her, he's not going to kill her. V'afilu eino krova l'malchus nami, even if she's not close to the government. Ilo ashmi'inan dechashinan la'arayas, if not for the concern of arayas, lo have a mistabra, the mitzvah mishum shvichas damim. It wouldn't be a concern of shvichas damim, because the idea is people in general, when it comes to women, they're not necessarily motivated to kill the woman. They want to have relations with a woman, but once they do that, v'kevon shabala, once they have relations with a woman, they usually don't want to kill her. That's what it means. That's what Ravidi is saying. Isha klezaino aleh. The Gemara said, "My beinayu." Then what's the difference between them? Bein Rabbi Yirmiyah demuki labisha chashuva halav chashuva chashin lo shvichas damim. Again, according to Rabbi Yirmiyah, if she wasn't chashuva, there's a concern for murder. Bein Ravidi damer klezaino aleh v'lekom mishum shvichas damim. And Ravidi says that automatically there's no concern of shvichas damim. Mikol makom, still mishum ervo ika bavlo mesechet. Still, there's a problem always of arayas, and so therefore they can't be in seclusion. In other words, the way Rashi understands the question of the Gemara is either way she can't be in seclusion with an Oved Kochavim. What's the difference if you try to figure out whether it's shvichas damim, not shvichas damim? And the Gemara says, the difference is as follows. Let's say it's a woman who's important among men, meaning she has the government connections, but she's not important among women because she's not beautiful. So according to Rabbi Yirmiyah, who says specifically by Inisha Chashuva, again, there's no concern of murder. That sounds like she has to be important among men and women. She's close to the government, they won't kill her. But there's a concern of arayas because she's beautiful. So that's the issue over here. Over here, where she's important among men, but she's not important among women, shari liyachude, like Rashi said above, it would actually be permitted to be alone with her, that she be alone with the over kochavim. There's no concern for murder because she's close to the government. It's not a problem of arayas because she's not beautiful. But according to Ravidi, it would be usher to be alone with the over kochavim. Because according to Ravidi, there's always a concern of arayas. Because that's what he was just saying in general. He just said that a woman is not a problem of murder because she has her weapons upon her. It doesn't say anything about a beautiful woman, and so therefore that would be the practical difference again between Rav Yirmiyah and Ravidi. And the Gemara continues, Tanya Kavasi de Ravidi bar Avin. We have a brisa that supports Ravidi bar Avin. It says in the brisa, Isha afal pisha shalom ima, by a woman even though the peace is with her, which is essentially what Ravidi is saying of Klei Zaino Alea, Lo Tesyachin imo, and she should not be in seclusion with the Ovdei Kochavim, Mimnei Shechashudin al Harayos, because they are suspect in terms of Arayos. Rashi says, even though they're for sure not going to kill her, because her weapons are upon her, but still she shouldn't be alone with them. That's like Ravidi Baravin. Hashalamima, when it says the phrase Hashalamima, mashma hino says Shlomo. That sounds like she carries her peace. She doesn't need that connection to the government for peace. And the Gemara continues at the two dots. The Mishnah said, "Lo yisyachid adam imoin." A person should not be alone with the Ovdei Kochavim because again, there's a concern that they'll be murdered. The Gemara says, "Tanu Rabban," and the rabbis taught, Yisrael should is damin lo Oved Kochavim bederech. If a Jew finds himself with an Oved Kochavim on the road, with an idol worshiper on the road, tov lo liyamino, he should keep him to his right side. That's for protection. We'll see Rashi on all of this. Rabbi Shmuel ben Oshel, Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, Omer Rabbi Yochanan, the son of Rabbi Yochanan ben Broka, says, "Besayif with a sword, tov lo liyamino, keep him to the right. B'makel with a staff, tov lo smaller, then you should keep them to the left. Hayuolin b'mala, let's say they're going up, they're ascending, let's say, a mountain or a hill, or Yordan b'yarida, or they're going down. Lo Yisrael lemata v'yovad kochavim lamala, the Jew shouldn't be below and the Ovad kochavim above. That's too dangerous. Eli Yisrael lemala v'ovad kochavim lamata, the Jew should be above, the Ovad kochavim should be below." And the brisa continues, Val Yashuach lefanav, the Jew should not bend down in front of the Ovad kochavim. Shema yoretz askol galto, maybe he will break his skull. Shoalu lahechon halach, if they ask him where is he going, let's say the Ovad Kochavim asks the Jew where he's going, Yarchiv lo es haderech, he should give him a further distance, a further destination than he's actually going. Kederech shasi Yaakov Avinu le'esav harasha. This is what Yaakov Avinu did with Esav harasha. Techsiv ara asher avo el adoni seira. He told Esav, until I come to my master in Seir. But then it says, it's written of Yaakov Nosas Sukkos, so that he went to Sukkos. Ma'asav v'talmid Rabbi Akiva. There was an incident with the students of Rabbi Akiva. Shayu holchem lechaziv. They were walking to Chaziv. Pagu b'hen listim. Bandits met up with them. Amru lehen. They said to them, Lo anatem holchem. Where are you going? Amru lehen. They said to them, La Akko. We're going to Akko. Kevan shigiu lechaziv perishu. But when they got to Chaziv, they already separated. Amru lehen talmidei me'atem. So then they said to them, who are you students of? Amru lehen talmidei Rabbi Akiva. They said, we're students of Rabbi Akiva. Amru lehen. So the bandits said to them, Asher Rabbi Akiva v'talmidav. Fortunate is Rabbi Akiva and his students, shelo paga bohen adam ramei olam, that they never meet up with a wicked person forever. Rav Menashe ve'ozor, Rav Menashe was going. And Rashi explains, Toflo liyamino, you keep the Ovad Kochavim to his right, Mechavro Ovad Kochavim liyamino shal Yisrael, meaning keep the Ovad Kochavim to the right of the Jew. Shem yirtz Ovad Kochavim l'hargo, that way if the Ovad Kochavim wants to murder the Jew, Yishlach Yisrael yad yamino v'yochezbo, the Jew will send out his right hand, his stronger hand to be able to grab him. B'sayif, let's say, has a sword, Dim haya Ovad Kochavim chagar sayif, let's say the Ovad Kochavim has a sword, Toflo Yisrael liyamino, so then the Jew again should keep him to his right, Kedei sheyeh yad smol shal Ovad Kochavim, That way, the left side of the Oved Kochavim, Shasayev Chagur Bo, that's where the sword is. Letzad Yamino Shal Yisrael will be by the right arm of the Jew. Umizumenes Liyamin Yisrael Lechos Ba, and therefore the Jew will be able to grab the sword from the non-Jew. B'makel, now let's say he has a staff, and Biyad Oved Kochavim Makel, if he's holding a staff, Tovlo Yisrael L'Samolo, so then the Jew should keep the Oved Kochavim to his left. Shetei Yad Yamino Oved Kochavim Shamakel Ba, that way the right hand of the Oved Kochavim, and he's holding his staff, Smuchal Yisrael, that's near the Jew. V'im Yorim Yad Yamino Tochzo Smolo Shal Yisrael B'makel Asamachla, if he should lift up his right hand, so then the Jew's left hand, the Jew will be able to stick out his left hand and grab the staff. The Tovlo Yamino, because if he keeps him to his right, Yehamakel Rachuk Miyadu Shal Yisrael, the staff is going to be far away from the hand of the Jew. And then it said, B'male, B'haro, B'sel, let's say they're going up, let's say, a mountain. So, Lo Yehei Yisrael Lamata, the Jew should not be below. Elo Lamala Ba'aliyah Yelech Yisrael, he should always be above. Lefnei Oved Kochavim, before the Oved Kochavim. Dahainu Lamala, that's what it means, Lamala. Ela Shetovlo Liyamino, Delo Hava Achra Mamish, but he should keep the Oved Kochavim behind him, but a little bit to the right. Uvi Yerida Yolech Oved Kochavim Lefanav, and then when they're going down, he should keep the Oved Kochavim in front of him. Bi'al Yashoach Lefanav Afilu B'mishor, now even if he's, let's say, in an area that's not a mountain or a hill, let's say it's the plains, he shouldn't bend down. Al Yishchei Yisrael Lefnei Oved Kochavim Lito Klum, don't bend down to pick up anything. Shema Yoretz Es Gilgalto Yerotzitz, again maybe he'll break his skull. And Rashi continues, Yarchiv Lo Asaderech, he should widen the road, meaning Im Hayat Tzarech Lo Leilech Ad Parsa, let's say he's going 1 parsa, Yomer Lo Beis Parsos Ani Tzarech Leilech, he should tell him I'm going for 2 parsa. Ulai Yamten Oved Kochavim Ila HaKoso Ad Parsa Shnia, because then maybe the Oved Kochavim is going to wait to strike him down by the 2nd parsa. V'zeh Yifrosh Mimenu Kodem L'chein, and already this person will separate before that. Nosa Sukkos V'lo Halach Ad Seir, again Yaakov, he went to Sukkos, not to Seir, and Liako Rachuk Michziv, Akko is more distant than Chaziv, and we will continue with this discussion in the next video on Daf Chavav Amud Aleph.